Hello, what I'm going to walk through in this video is how you can go ahead and use the Java Visualizer tool where you can step through your code line by line and actually see what's happening in your code. So I've added a link under the Student Open Forum to the Java Visualizer tool. So if you just go ahead and click on it, and then that'll take you to the page where the link is, and what'll happen is that link will open up, the tool will open up in a new window. So in order to use the tool, the easiest way to use the tool is to go into JGrasp, write your program first in JGrasp, and then what you can do is you can just do a Control-C. So what we're doing is we're checking the acceleration program that we wrote in the previous video, and we're just going to walk through that program. So let me go back into the Visualizer tool and delete what's in there, and then I will just go ahead and add my program. And then the one thing that's kind of funky with this tool is that when you're actually asking the user for input or prompting the user for input, in order for this tool to work correctly, what you need to do is you need to go down and click on this stdin, which stands for standard in. And then within this box, what you need to do is you just need to go ahead and enter the inputs that you're going to be inputting for the user when they're prompted. So we're going to use the same numbers that we did when we in the previous video. So velocity 0 will be 5.5, velocity 1 will be 50.9, and our time will be 4.5. So after you've added those input values, you can go ahead and click on the Visualize Execution button. And what'll happen is it'll start walking through your code line by line. So it'll highlight each one of the lines as it walks through the code. So in the first one, we're just creating a scanner object. So I'll go ahead, click on forward. We have our scanner object that's been created, our scanner instance. So what we want to do is next line is prompting the user. So if you scroll on down, we'll click forward. That prompt will come up down below for the user to enter the initial velocity. It'll read this from our standard in that we entered. I'll click on forward. So what it's done now is it's created our V0 variable in memory and stored 5.5 in there. I'll click on forward, go to the next line. It prompted the user for enter the ending velocity. The reason why these prompts are showing up on the same line is that we used print instead of println statements. So I'll go ahead and click on forward. And what it's done is it's read in the 50.9 and it's stored it in our variable called V1. Go ahead, click forward. If you go ahead and check down below, it has enter the time. So I'll click on forward again. So now basically what we have is we have our three variables, our V0, V1, and time, currently residing in memory. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to calculate our acceleration. So I'll click on forward. So what it's done is it's calculated that acceleration as 10.08888889. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the two output statements. So I'll click on forward. So what it's done is it's outputted the first one on the same line as our print in, since I did not use, I used print instead of println statements. It calculated as the correct amount, and then I will forward one more time. And then what gets outputted is the average acceleration is 10.0889. So this is a really nice tool, especially when we start working with decisions and looping within your program. Basically what this does is it walks you through, it visualizes each one of the variables you went in and created. So as you can see over on the right, the first variable we created is an input variable, and it is of a scanner instance, so that's why it's pointing to this instance of scanner. And then we've created 4 additional variables for our initial velocity, our ending velocity, our time, and then finally our acceleration. So I would recommend, especially if you're having a hard time understanding a concept or you may have issues with your program, is to just go ahead and drop it in the scanner. If your program does not compile in JGrasp, the same thing will happen in the Java visualizer. So I would make sure you've corrected all your compile errors. Once you've corrected all your compile errors, then this will walk through your program. If you try to run it in here with compile errors, you'll see compile errors in the Java visualizer tool. So I just wanted to walk you through this valuable tool that you can use throughout the semester. There's a few caveats about that. When we start working with classes, I'll talk about those. So that's all I had for this video.